Hello, so I thought I'd make a quick video on how package maintenance works in the OpenSUSE Linux open source distribution. The package manager is based on RPM, which is developed first by Red Hat slash Fedora slash CentOS. And yeah, so I thought I'd show you today how I maintain certain packages. Particularly, we're going to be looking at deno, which is a fairly complicated build process considering that it has C++, Python, um, and a bunch of other things that it needs in order to build. And of course the Rust programming language itself. So I thought I'd just go right in and show you guys how this works. So the first thing I do is I get into my home folder, and then I go to my local branch of JavaScript. Then I go to Rusty V8. So Rusty V8, for guys who don't know, is a part of the deno. That's part of deno's code base. Here it is. This is V8 JavaScript bindings for Rust. And actually, if you want to build deno, you're going to have to build this one first. So you'll see here, the latest release was 0.35, and that was released 8 days ago. So this is the latest one. Now if we go back here in OpenSUSE build service, we can take a look at the cloud version and see what happened. So everything's checked in and it failed for some reason. So if I want to see why it failed, I can go here and see, oh, there's this file it's looking for and that's not actually there. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. I'm not sure why. Yes, so revender source is still listed here, but we are not using that anymore. So what I can do now is do an update just to make sure I have the latest, and then I can look at the spec file. Now in the spec file we had this revender thing. We don't need that anymore. So I'm not even going to log that as a change because it was just like a miss. Maybe what I'll do instead though is I'll get a new header. So now I'll just take this date instead of that one. Okay, so now that we have that, let's just do a double check here. And OSC, by the way, is a specific tool for Open Build Service. And you can use that you're expected to use that actually for any package building needs. So let me just see what the diff for this looks like. It looks good. New header, remove the revender source. So let's go ahead and pack that up. And I'll just say fix revender source. Or not fix, remove. Okay, so now when I commit this change, the quote-unquote cloud server will be able to start building it. So if we go back here, we should be able to see on the cloud side it already started building the 32-bit build, which unfortunately will not work. Deno is not compatible with 32-bit architectures at the moment. Okay, so now that all that stuff is building, I trust it'll build well. So let's go now to deno. So deno had a new release, I believe. Let's just check that out. Yes, so now they're on 1.16.3. So, okay, let's do this. So we're now on 1.16.3. What else? Oh yeah, I like to do these little links too. looks like it's broken, so we're not going to do that. Okay, so now we check into the service files. This is for more complicated builds. You're going to need a service to build it, and it's pretty good actually because you can you can edit out things that you don't want from the build at all. As you can see, I've removed several things that are actually unnecessary for the build, including tests, because the test runner runs on the CI, so I don't really care about it, so I'll ignore that locally. That's the idea there. Alright, so now let's look out for Rusty V8. We gotta get that one up to date too. I believe this was 35. Okay, so now what I like to do is work on the changelog. So this is not that interesting, but I will put it here like this. And then we have a note update to version 1.16.3. It has these changes, and just give it some good. Just make a good list out of this. Okay, and what's next? So we gotta keep track of the other changes that we missed. So let's get 16.2. Okay. There's probably a better way to do this, but I'm just going with what I know. Okay, so 16.2, that means we also need 16.1. And finally, 16.0. Oops, what's going on there? Right, so we want, let's use 1.16.0. A lot of changes in this one, so let's just go through really quickly and put the bullet points. Alright, what else? There's quite a bit here. Alright, so now we have all the changes related to deno. So let's now go for tar SCM. This is again built-in OpenSUSE tooling. It pulls from Git for you with some sane defaults. It fetches the submodules. I hate projects that build with submodules, but it is what it is. And hey, OpenSUSE helps us deal with it. So good job. Thanks, OpenSUSE. Okay, so just gotta wait for all this new stuff to get pulled down. You can see here they're using a custom version of V8. It's kind of sad that that's needed, but they always send them back upstream. Oh, nice, and they only include the patches. That's pretty cool. So yeah, so while we wait for that, we can just kind of look around here. I wonder if Mr. Kai. Let's go with this one. Yeah, this thing is still going, so we can take a look and see what's going on there. Let's see, build. Looks like it's still fetching dependencies from Git. Alright, good. Now we just need to recompress it. So that will take the tar files and compress them into a XC with the XC compression. Yep, so there's deno 1.16.3. I guess we can get rid of this one now. Gotta add the files. This is kind of like Subversion, if any of you guys are familiar with that. A bit older. Alright, so vendoring. Vendoring begins with deno. Oh. Edition 2021 is required. That might be a problem. Maybe we just don't include the bench util. Alrighty, so do we have tars again? We have tars now, so let's try to recompress it. Alright, so we probably don't need the old rusty V8. So let's get rid of that. Looks like I might need to update my Rust. Looks like I just needed a new version of the Rust toolchain. Now I'm able to vendor the dependencies. It seems... Let's see how far we get. Oh, we're done here. So let's take... Alright, so we got a new vendor tarball, about the same size as the last one. Okay, and now what I do here is I will go to revendering. So I have a little revender script. First of all, I'll show you what it does. It's basically just, you know, move some files around in order to make things work. And they're related to these GitHub issues. If you're wondering why I use this revender thing. Okay, so we'll just run that. And right now the vendor tarball is 37 megs. Oh, that can't be good. Oh, right, because Rusty V8 got renamed. It's not that anymore. It is actually now just V8. It's just V8 at this point. So this needs to change. So we have... Hang on. Yeah. Okay. So when it's unpacked in here, it will just have the name V8, and then we want to get rid of everything else. So okay, this becomes a V8, and finally we want to do. We want to do this. Is this V8 once again? Here also, it should just be V8. V8 goes to vendor, Okay, let's try that. Try that one again. So we'll re-render. Oh, this may be unnecessary now. Yeah, that might be unnecessary. Let's try it again. It is not a directory. What do you mean? You know what? Let me just do some checking myself. Temp A, and then we'll copy *XZ into temp A, and we'll go into temp A, and then we will extract Rusty to see what's going on with the name. Okay, so, alright. Okay, I think I see the problem. This really is a lot of V8, huh? So what I like to do is use creator stat to look at this stuff. So that's the actual V8 from Google, third party. Most of this is probably not even needed. Okay, but we will look at this script again. Oh. Alright, so now we want to review what we changed here. So revender will need to have some changes. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, so back to temp A, and now let's look at deno. What does deno look like? So it has served V8. Deno 116, okay, so deno, why not? Alright, so in the vendor folder it is called just V8. It's not Rusty V8 anymore. So yeah, that is okay. So everything is there. Get back. Okay, so we're going for the vendor work. Right. So we need to re-render the source, which involves, okay, so this one's extracting to that folder. Okay, now we're taking the we're copying vendor v8 stuff. Okay, and we're getting rid of everything else. Okay, that should be the right way to do it. And then, alright, this one probably needs a wildcard. And that, oh, right. And we'll try it one more time. Oh, sorry, render. Don't know if it'll work, but you know. I think I might have done it. It looks good. It's compressing already. Something's fucked here. Going for a local build, seeing if it'll come through, and if it goes well, then I'll push it up to the cloud so that other people can have RPMs of deno. This is one of the frustrating things about OpenSUSE is dependencies are downloaded in sequence, which is really silly. I mean, you could really speed this thing up by just having parallel downloads. Easy for a JavaScript developer, but when a guy using C++, how are you gonna parallelize it, bro? You gonna import something out of the standard library? Oh, C++, right. Some of you guys hate your standard library. And that's why your whole community is confused. Loose screw. A loose screw here, so I'm gonna do it up. Okay, that's better. Oh, they've got a little spinner now. That's better, I guess. Baby steps. I don't know how well you guys can see me there. But we can check. Oh, not a very good angle. Alright, so now we're getting to the build part. So let's just do that really quickly. Looks like the build is good so far. Let's see if it exits early for any reason. I'll be back after I find some tape. Let me just finish up the video. Should be done soon. Alright, so we're still building here. That thing's gonna take quite a while. I'll tell you that much. And I got a little bit of tape there so you can see me. Okay, so now what I like to do when the build gets this far is go to the submission stage. So we have new tar balls, we have some changes to re-render, and we have the new tar ball there. So let's go ahead and commit it. Well, I did this to go on RAM. You can tell from the status bar. Oh, actually we're good. Have a lot of RAM before we get out of memory. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to commit these changes, and we can say 1.15.3 upgrade to 1.16.3, and then commit that. So that way the cloud can build it as soon as possible as well. Okay, so let's see how long this is going to take. So this at the top here is my local build, and at the bottom here is going to be the cloud build. So first we have to upload the tar balls, the spec file, and then we can get a build going. Wow. Memory's pretty spiky. Sometimes it just jumps up to 20 gigabytes. You know what? Let's get a huge view of this. There we go. So that's working on the Rust. You got all the cores churning. All 31 or 32, some of them are just virtual, but it's quite a thing. Makes the computer warm, but not as warm as the graphics card. Okay, so that one is still building, and here we go. So now I see at revision 48, so that means when I go into the cloud version, I can see if it checked in or not, just by refreshing this page. And yes, indeed, we see that 16.3 got uploaded, and we can now see there are some builds going. So then now we can also check in on Rusty V8 and see how that's doing. So these are still building, which is good. Failure is expected for the 32-bit version. Just doesn't work yet for whatever reason. Okay, but that's that one. We don't really care about that one. We're going now for deno. Good. So it's scheduled. We got some ARM builds going, or they will be going. Okay, so I will continue this stream until this build ends. So I'm gonna move this over to the other side, and let's do, what can we do here? I can show you the source code of my derp my little derp project. Derp is what you see me whenever I use dir. This is what it's referring to. So it's a simple Go program, and all it does is I'll open this up and I'll show you. Right. So it's a selector of kind. So this is probably stuff I should delete because I think this is just my lack of understanding of Go, and I'm trying to build on that. Oops. Down a little bit. Okay. How does that look? Okay. I'm not sure that's the best angle, but whatever. Yeah, let's check out some music while this thing is building. I haven't done esbuild in a while, so maybe that's a good one to update. It's fairly simple to update this one. So we can just go into esbuild and let's do, okay, so I haven't updated since 12.9, which is beyond a page's worth of changes. I thought this would happen. So what I do in these cases is I say update to 0.13.15, and then we can say see change log release notes for changes, additions, or removals. Okay, so now this one is a lot simpler. It doesn't even have a spec file. Hold on a second. I don't know if I like this song. I don't really like that one. We don't call ourselves a dumb. Nope. All this is just too much right now. Take it easy, rock, maybe. Oh, you know what? This one is pretty good. Paris Jackson. Grim Adagio. Alright, so 12. Okay, so we can get rid of this old esbuild package and add the new one. Then we want to get the vendor. Right, so now we should be able to render this one. We actually have Go installed. That looks correct. So let's build it now. Alright, so now we have esbuild, and I can install it right from here. There you go. Now I have the latest esbuild, and in case anyone wants to see what the rest of the RPM looks like, boom. So now we can say we upgraded to 0.13.15. Update to and one of the unfortunate aspects of OpenSUSE's way of building is you can only have one build going at a time. You can see here that the build of deno got interrupted because I started the build for esbuild. So I'll probably just wait for the cloud build of this one now, and then at least esbuild is there. Esbuild is pretty light, easy to build. Alright, that's it for now. Looks like we got an hour of footage. I'll be back later with more. Until then.